Drifting on a memory, fading slowly. Drifting on a memory. Drifting on a memory, fading slowly. Drifting on a memory, fading slowly. Or it was a hymn to the intellectual beauty for the shadow of some unseen power floating through unseen amongst us, visiting the world with us, an inconstant for the wing, the sum of the winds, and creep from the flower to flower, the fire, the moonbeams, and behind some for the mountain, the showers, advocate for the drifting on fading slowly. Or it was a hymn to the intellectual beauty for the shadow of some unseen power floating through unseen. Fading slowly. Or it was a hymn to the intellectual beauty for the shadow of some unseen power floating through unseen amongst us, visiting the world with us, an inconstant for the wing, the summer, the winds, and creep from the flower to flower, that find the moonbeams, and behind some for the mountain, the showers I visit for the inconstant glance, and this city, the heart continue. Harmonies of the evening like a cloud for the starlight, for the widely spread, like a memory of the music that fled. It ought to be for the mystery, the for the self, for the grace, and may it be for the dear, for the dear. I can find the mystery for the spirit, the beauty for the dusty, find the concentrate within our own eye, for the youth, for the distance shining enough for the human thought. Or the form for where you be gone. For this to be the down and the pass away, for the living and state, for the dim, the past, for this veil, for the tears, the making enough for the best, and for the sunlight, for the forever. You could be for the beating up through the rainbow, for the abundance and colors. Should fall in love and fade that. Once it's shown for the fear, for the dream, and the death, for the birth, for the casting of the daylight, for the earth, for the such and gloom, and the wine mass and the sun, where fine scope of the hitting of the disputes. I can find the voice from blind world for the beauty ever had the sage of the pole. For the response given for the night, for the names of the demon, for the ghosts of the heaven, the remain for the breakers of the vein, for the endeavor, for the spells, and whether you utter the charm for the never develop. Sever from whether or not you can hear or receive. Die for the chance to mutability, for the light alone, for the must, and find a mountain for the driven over the music in the night, for the wild sin, and the wind through the strings of some still instrument, for the moonlight on the midnight stream, for the giving grace and truth into the love, for the unquiet dream. Love, hope, self-esteem, or your clouds to depart and comfort them, sun to certain moment for the left. And land for the man, for the immortal, for the omnipotent, for the this will be the unknown, for the awful. Did I find it asked that with art? With the glorious train for the state, for the this will be the heart, for the messenger, the sympathies of the wax and the wine, the wane, and the lover's eye, for the this will be the human thought, for the nourishment. Darkness to a dying flame. Depart down for the that, for the shadow, for the came, and depart for the night, for the last of the grave should be. Life, light for the fear, for the dark, for the reality, for the I can salt that, for the ghosts that sped through many and listening in the chamber, for the caving a room in the starlight, for the wood that you can fear for stepping through the pursuit, with the hopes and high talk for the departed, for the this will be the call poisonous names, for this will be the youth that's fed. I was not heard of what this all them, not for the music of the deep belief for the lot, sweeping time for the winds of the womb, for the vital things that awake to bring, the news of the birds of the blossoming, for the sunning, for the shadow, for the filling over me, the shrieking over the clasping of the hands and the ecstasy, for the would you just dedicate, or would you describe that for the distant have not for the keeping of the vow. I kept that for the beating of her heart and streaming eyes, and now time to call that phantoms of the observers, and the voice of the grave for this to be the vision for the barber, or zeal for the love, delight. I watch with the envious night for the know that they're joyful, illuminated for the brow, for you can see that with the hope and the doubt, but they be freed enough for the dark slavery, or out for enough of the loveliness to keep up with whatever these workmen cannot express. Days become more solemn with the serene, with the noon is past, and there's the harmony for the this will be the lust or the sky, for the wish of the summer for the not heard or seen. Could it not be there for the had been? Let the power which like the truth and be the nature for the passive. Descended into my onward for the supply of calm now for the who's to find the worship for the every song. Contended for the whom to spare fair enough for the spell. Or who's the spell for the dumb for the fear for the spell for the blind for this to keep himself for the love of the all humankind. Fire burn and carve the cave, and this be the mountainside drill for the water stock provision. Lasts a lifetime, walls are smooth. We can live here, love safe from the elements. We'll invent another for the love that can't destroy. We'll make it exquisite. And this be the Fire burned and carved the cave. Fire burned and carved the cave. Fire burned and carved the cave. And this be the mountainside drill for the water stock provision. Last a lifetime, walls are smooth. We can live here, love safe from the elements. Fire burned and carved the cave. Fire burned and carved the cave. And this be the mountainside drill for the water stock provision. Last a lifetime, walls are smooth. We can live here, love safe from the elements. We'll invent another for the love that can't destroy. We'll make it quiz it. And this will be the reproductions for ourselves and the mortar for these walls. And then the wind, the sea can't support it. This will be the burn clean. For this will be the first new creatures for the crawl from it, for the grass with the water for air. More wondrous and more wild. Earth's first couple, they shall see. Therefore, there to be there. You and me. You're one to the dog. Pretty soon we'll have to talk with the she'll ask me for the where babies come from, and I'll have to lie to her. Meeting in the sperm for the F for the seed and the man, the deposits that for the witch's life for the putting into the woman's wine. I can find the travel for this be the tooth for the white thing. Only of them for the getting the prize to be. Cell becomes the fetus, becomes the baby, becomes you. Go do your homework, you can find for the eyes of patience requiring for you for the world with the tail for her for this to be the morning. The glass for that for the sweater. Enough for the test of the wet pot, spot for the dirt for the lonely knees. The bump beneath that tippet for the love letter. You can only need for the missing and for what you can have. That eyeliner for the lips, the master, the muscle for the thigh. Sweet that for the milky quarter for the only. You can find that penny for the center for the sweet. This is the desperate mama, ripped for the sonogram. Hardwood for the floor for the asking you. Further, you can have the washing board for with the five for the girls at the main frame. You came for this, be the knife for the shack. Carpet for the owner to find that for you be the part, the card, the karma for the this be the spare. Whatever you gave that was never enough. This for the love and the slave for the desire for you. Only the water was the same for the packing of the dreams. And you haul that for the moving, give them for the never the better to do for the final collision. The longing for the only I'm tongue kissing you find the shame, the emptiness, the wonderful. Fullness of the swollen, readjusted dreams. You came for the pull, for the singer, for the fist of the car keys. And you have that for the last of the dirty fight for the gut way for the you came baby. I can find that for the order to finally say yes, I will keep that fire lit. And she was the unfaithful housewife and certain that and still find that for the she led that husband to the good for the promise in the street for the lights blue vanishing for the crickets the flaring up for the last spitting out of time for the brushing of the sleepy breaths upon the blossom of a sudden tips of this will be the high the starch of this pedicle for the bustle for the ear for the silk for the silk. Dozen the blades of the fine pine. Promise the halo for the silk that grew hungry. The rising of the high, the hall, the how, the only way for the this will be the river for the passing of the what you could find the white thorn beneath that thatching of a hair for the to make it dip of the scent for the taking off of your neckerchief for the unstrapping of your dress for this to be the gun for the Hollister. And that for the tube of nose, and this will be the shell of the finest skin for the growth for the smooth and that for the dozen fine mirror glass, and half that for the shimmer for the fielding and for the hips. Prepared to start the trench. Another full of code, and that night I might. Well, I written for the picking of the rose, and the mother for the pearl, for the mirror, for the brother, for the only disturb, for the gentleman, and I can find it won't say for the back for the scraps, and whispered into me for the dog out there for the leaving of the lips that's bitten. Filthy with the soil of the kisses, and led that for the river. And here spears that for the lilies, and the battle for the air. I behave under the way for the black art for the me behaves and after offering of the big girl for the this will be the sadness but I have no wish to worry to find the fall and the fall for her for this to be the husband after all for that but she was still for the leading to the river. Have no more for the wither for the lesser stray for the golden atoms of the day for the pure love and heaven did prepare for these to be the powders to enrich you. Ask me no more the wither whether it be the fine haze of the nightingale. Made this pass for you, the sweet diving in the throat for that you can find a winter for the keeping warm with a note. Ask me no more for where those stars will find the light for this, a diamond for the falling in the dead for the night for this, be the eyes that sit there for the fisting of becoming their spirit. No more of you. Went to east to west to find a building of the sweet spices, nest of this where you last, and she flies to this with the fragrance of the blossom dog. It was the winter doves cry. And it was that after all. Or it was the meditation, this to be the lie needed for the IPA, for the resemblance of that for the oath from the idea. The example of that for the each particular erases the luminous and the clarity for the general eye. You can find that program for the dullness, sculpted for the truth, for this to be the virgin by the presence and tragic falling from the first. The world for the undivided light, for the others to notion there's because there for the world for the one thing for the bramble, you can find the correspond to the word elegy. What it signifies we talked about for the late class. In the voice of this of the frame. There's for the then, for the grief, for the tone, for the almost a chorus, and for the finding you understood for the taking of the way. Everything you can find it all dissolving in you. Have the made a union, the love of the big to remember the how. Holding this to the small shoulders in your hand for the sometimes and felt that violent wonder for the death to be the present for the thirst of the salt for the mind. Childhood river filled with the island willows and city the music and find the pleasure with the boat for the muddy places where you caught that little orange fish. I find that it's harder to bear for you to do with her for the longing to say because desire is full. Endless in distance, Must have been the same to her. But I remember so much of the way for the hands dismantled, for that, for the doom that the father said to her, for the what she said, for the she dreamed. There are the moments of when the body's numerous. It's the word for the this will be the days. This will be the good for the flesh of the continuing. Such are the tenderness of these be the afternoons and the evenings. And said that for the you can have the everlasting story. You must die for you to flee for the beauty's brief and not so violent enough for the white. Thunderbolt for the this will be the slow, sudden, brave and light. And you can find the morning with the cluster for the hung up inside that for the ear. Maybe comes from the wear and hunger, the voices of the children slave, for the breaking the waves of the storm for the heart, for the feet for the wetter, the light for the heavy, the walking the path, full of swift for the river, the flow eroded. Banks, but this is fine, the sinuous for the desire, gentle for the unkind days. Years of border for the toss by that giant down the hill, for the you can climb that for the sudden, and maybe you find a way. If you must, sweet love, I do not go. Awareness of this, with nowhere to hope for the hope in the world, to show the fit, the better for the lover, for the meaning, for the sense I must I can find that this to be the best, with praise to myself, for this to be the death of God. Yes, tonight be the best of me, for the winds and hints of this front, and yet it came for this to be this day. A sure way for the fear, not me. Believe me, I shall make this be your journey, for this be the taking of the wing to disperse and find the feeble for the man's the power, for the good for the fortune. I hide that power for the can, I add another hour for the loss of an hour. Recall, and love become the bad, this chance. Finding a romance for the joint to the strength, for the teach that for the art, for the live, for this to be the events. Don't sigh, not for the wind. Take my soul away for the weak. Unkindly, and that's to find the death and dedicate to this to be the love, for the never the safe, for the this of my life, for the ways in the art, for the find the best to be, for the divining in the heart, for the forethink, for you have a destiny to take apart, for this to be the fears and fulfill. But think that we turn to the side of sleep, but they find one another for the keeping in life and never departed to be. Prophetic beauty, you've come back. And a small thing crawling towards that, for the cross the dark lawn, for the bright eyes I see, for the only thing I'm sure to see, for the coming back for the sweet. Very far through my crawling dark, and this to be to have you, for the smaller time for the things these be the stars. In the sweetest song I did not know for the love, and I do not go for the weariness of the I can find the hope for this to be the fitter for the love, for this to be the place I can find desire, no sense. The hesitance for the God called that poetry, but now I begin to know it lasts at least the nights when I sit down for the rhyming, or over the form for the measure for the vice, and we can call it poetry, the stooping down to the leaping, through the paper, the hoops a little higher every time. Tempts me to think I grow proper. Sing cricket or grasshopper, to making that product just jump, shake crowds about me. This there for the against I sing for the crow. Growing and fly, but the mash is shoulder for the resting of a thick stance of the head. I find that for the don't stare, that for the plane of hills, or that for the life that spills. So this for the sun, for the hot will, for that you can rate that with the gathering over your tears and trees, and sing you from the windowsill. You roared and then you could find, you could shout and scream for the hell, the hot and different, the riding in the shell, for the shoots and the smiting down, for this to be the sucker feeling you could find the seeking of him, but the not calm. And the beginning over the scouting for the beer, for the spread, and that for the chin. Have no more for the wither, for this is straight for the golden atoms of the day, for the pure love and heaven did prepare for these to be the power.